The court is in session.
Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hatemael. With me today we have M4, Sheriff Lobo, and maybe Loot. And Kage may or may not jump in if he gets a break from his slave drive evil corporation job. So we are doing our most famous podcast of the month, which is our tier list. Maybe we'll get it out at a reasonable time frame this time. I sent the artists the stuff early this time, so you never know. I even have the screen up at the beginning of the podcast, unlike I usually do, trying to figure out how to get it up later. So with that, let's get right into it. First on our list is Black Mass, the Crime King. I'll let you start, Sheriff Lobo. You have him as a B currently?
Yeah, I think he's a lot better on defense than offense. And, you know, we've said this in different tunes. To really get his full value, you need teammates to die and then revive. And as long as the star system is in place in PvP, non-sandbaggers won't really get his full usefulness. But he's not totally worthless. His crit immunity is pretty good. Unless you can get that off of him immediately, he can survive almost anything except the Arcus double tap. And then his debuffs are pretty good. I played through Red Alerts with him and Constantine and used up all my revivers, and it was pretty amazing to do that. But of course, you know, his limitation is the penalty for death and revive.
Yeah. What about you, M4?
Okay, so my vote is like maybe a B+. Well, he's, like Sheriff Lobo said, he's a victim of the star system. But one thing that most people think about Black Mask is how similar he is to Constantine. But there's quite a few differences to, you know, separate their uses. For one, he's much faster than Constantine. So you can get those assists out sooner. However, one thing that Constantine does better is that his basic does no damage. So he's not in danger of, you know, missing evasion tunes or get counter-attacked. So that's one weakness of Black Mask. And then second, he only gets crit immunity while Constantine gets to defensive skills. He gets like awareness and invisibility. And then the main difference for me is the payoff when someone dies. When someone dies on Constantine's team, you get the int downs. That really nukes someone, right? He doesn't even care who you are. But for some reason, even if you get the agility downs, Black Mask doesn't quite punish you as much as Constantine does. I can count the number of times I've used his 3 skill. I just spam his assist call in basic all the time.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, the only thing he does better than Constantine is like he puts out more debuffs because strength and agility is somehow different, but intelligence is just one. So if you want to pair him with like tunes that benefit from debuffs like let's see, Katana or Scarecrow, that's where he's a little better. But otherwise, he's kind of like somewhat inferior version of Constantine.
Yeah, I would say that I was expecting him to be a better version of Constantine because he doesn't have to be in the leader spot to do a lot of stuff. But I find that I don't really like him that much. I mean, I don't see myself ever using him again. I don't see any reason to bring him over really anybody. During Siege, I never slotted. Like, I tried to force him in a couple times, and then I always regretted it when I did, because he just could get nuked by Killer Frost. Or, I mean, the crit immunity gives him a little bit of sustainability, but it doesn't feel like it's enough to do what he needs to do. And he does get a turn early, but then it feels like it's an eternity before you get to do anything again. And usually then it's just you're using his basic to, or his taunt to call assist. And I just don't find that nearly as useful as I thought I would. So I kind of have him as a low B personally. And I really thought he was going to be like an A tier tune when he first came out, but I found that he was more underwhelming than I expected. He's not a bad tune. I just don't really. I don't know. I just don't like him.
Right. I'm surprised how the clones work so differently than the originals, right? You know, like Eclipso he looks like a Harley clone, but plays so much differently.
Oh, he was one I wanted to add to our list. Speaking of which.
Oh, then let's do that. All right.
Yeah. So we'll add him on there. But overall, we have him as a B. So let's move on while you're doing that. Next up is Cassandra Cain. And Sheriff Lobo, let's start with you again while M4 is making some adjustments to our sheet.
Well, first of all, I was glad to hear that you said Cassandra instead of Cassandra, because here in the South, we say Cassandra.
Well, I am technically in the South, so.
Yeah. I like her. I think she's pretty good. She's fast, and starting with invisibility in those bleeds, it's really awesome. So you pair her with another bleeder like Red Hood or the new Siren, and you can, just bleed like crazy. I think her damage on her other moves could be better, but her heal and her buff immunity are pretty good. But, most of the time, for me, I see her most value as a bleeder, getting those bleeds on really quickly.
Yeah, I haven't used her a whole lot. Actually, she's actually shy of gear 11 because I actually ran out of red gears too, which shocked me. But I've been farming. I never farm anymore, so I've been relying on it to just tier, and we've had so many red characters, I think my stash finally depleted. So I neglected that, so I gotta wait till Friday to finish gearing her, and it's gonna fall over raids, so I won't get to play her again till Monday. But
If Luke were here, he would have called you peasant.
I know. I ran out of rings and I ran out of red gear. I couldn't believe it. That doesn't happen to me in like 6 months. So I'm gonna but she looks cool. I like her. I'm gonna personally rate her as a B just based on what I've heard and seen. She might be a B plus. She seems like a pretty good character, but next month I think maybe we should kind of look at her again when we've had more than a couple days to play with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did gear her last night. I caved. I have to try her out. So my experience with her in Siege, I ignore her. That's what I mean, she doesn't do much. Fast AoE. This is in Siege though, so
Yeah.
Okay, but then I used her. So let's see what she can do. So for one, she's the enabler for Siren and Joker, Clown Prince of what is Crown Prince of whatever it is. It's Sipa.
Clown Prince of
Okay.
Crime.
Thank you.
We found your own
Okay.
princess of...
All right, so I have my own. It's Sipa. Okay. All right, so the thing that those two need is like the other team to be completely bleeding, and she's so fast, right? So she enables those two.
Mm-hmm.
But then her problem is she's so fast. There's no faster purger than her.
Yeah, I find it to be a problem with so many characters.
All right, so when I played her last night, so in order for her to work, this is the team that I used. What's her name? What's his name? I almost said Spermy. What's his name? Saint Walker. That's his name. Okay. So I always call him Spermy in our chat. Anyway, Saint Walker. So I used him, and then Clayface, Red Robin, and Cassandra Cain, because I'm also from the South. Okay. So all right. So I used Red Robin to give Saint Walker the turn meter.
I think we're from
So
Japan.
According to Miller. So he can purge. So the good thing is he doesn't do damage on that purge move. So whether it's evasion or Hal Jordan debuff immunity, it just goes away. And then Cassandra can go to town and then like apply the bleeds. But other than that, like Blue Beetle, Wonder Girl, Batman, World's Greatest Detective, they're not fast enough for her. So she needs a lot of help. She's good when she gets rolling, but she needs support. So my vote is she's going to be a B or B plus around that area.
Yeah, that's a good point because she has to have the invisibility to put those bleeds on. So if you can't put them on the first turn because of Hal Jordan buff immunity or whatever, then you have to open with her second, and yeah, that can get tricky.
Right, you're going to waste her AoE, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And then also a lot of times I would pair her with Donna Troy. I think they were like tunes together or whatever, the bonus tunes for the day. And Donna Troy, for me, oftentimes would transfer her invisibility to unawareness.
Right, and she needs that badly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that puts her at a B. Moving right along, we have Catwoman. So I'm going to start with this one just because she's one of my signature tunes that I love so much. I actually would put her as a high B, low A, maybe a B plus, I would say. Because I find that, especially in this past siege, I mean, she does need to be paired with stunners, so I guess that kind of keeps her as a B. But being able to remove all buffs, I find that to be more and more useful as we get these characters like Barda and Kyle and even Black Mass that are really good on defense, but they're not quite as strong on offense. But when they stack up the monster per stack of buffs, they get to be a pain. And Catwoman just removes all of it. And now that evasion is really, I mean, you're seeing less and less evasion, which is kind of her knock. I find her to be such a good character. And then also her cheat death. That's one of the few things on RNG that works for me regularly. So that makes me like her even more. M4 if you want to start this time.
Sure. I do find her annoying sometimes in Siege because of that. But then I think you're biased because you have her at RB3, RB4.
RB3,
but,
yeah.
RB3. But everyone else's L5 Catwoman, I just ignore her. She can't kill anyone. She does stun.
She's not great on defense.
She's not. And then when I use her, she doesn't do a lot of damage. So,
How about you, Sheriff?
Yeah, I think she's useful. One of the things that has worked well is she can steal those immunities. So, like, you can take some of those death immunities and buff immunities off of Arcus, especially if you're invisible, so that he doesn't retaliate and kill you. But she never works as good as me for the enemy. So she's always invisible for the enemy. She revives 4 times a match or cheats death 4 times a match. And I think I've gotten 1 cheat death out of her the entire siege myself.
All right, well, that puts her at a B. Moving on, Eclipso. I kind of wanted to talk about him because I've been using him a little more frequently. And with Hired Gun Deadshot being a little less frequently used, I find he is actually pretty good. So I think he's on par with MJ in my mind. I actually like him better than MJ now. So I kind of have him at A tier, personally. What would you say, M4?
I like him a lot. I almost want to vote 4, but I can't because he has a lot of counters. But when I use him, I really like him. For one, his enrage, even though it's 10%, it more than Harley, it feels a lot more.
Yeah,
And then also
he always enrages more.
He does, right? And then also the hit chance down, which is very, very useful. And he's also fast, very fast. So, but then again, whenever people see him, it's just like it's an open invitation to use.
Yeah, I know, but we don't put judge as much on defense as we do on.
I don't, but when in Siege, when certain people use him and he's so annoying, right? It's hard to deal with if you're not using an anti-evasion team. So, I mean, I still can't vote maybe B+. That's as far as I would go. Although I do like him a lot.
Sheriff Lobo, what do you think?
I don't remember what I had him at before, but I would probably say same thing as M4, B+.
Okay, so let's give him a B+. I think he was at a B. I think that's a fair
All right.
rating, a B+.
Obviously, I didn't vote on this one.
Right. Oh, okay. Loot's made it back.
I give him a C.
Oh, no.
I don't like him at all. He's better on defense than he is on offense.
There goes your
I'm
band-aid.
using him in Siege as my... Surprisingly. And he's... I mean, as long as I see, a green-heavy team or green-blue team.
I don't know. He just doesn't do it. Like, his damage kind of sucks. His hit chance downs are okay. But, I don't know. Like, he doesn't... The problem with him, and with Harley Quinn MJ as well, I don't know why, but they don't actually evade for me. So they can get killed by anybody because their evasions apparently don't matter. But against an enemy Eclipso, I'll never get a hit in. So I think he's terrible.
All right, Tate, it looked like he's probably going down.
Let's just
Well,
leave
let's
him at a
see.
B. I mean, he's not going to go below a B.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think majority wins, so he's a B.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
it's
we
just
had him
my
as a B+,
bad RNG
borderline
saying
A.
I don't like him because he doesn't do anything for me personally.
Well, since you made it on to the cast, let's talk about Gorilla Grodd. And Loot, I'll let you start.
He put on the sirens. Here we go. He's trashed here. Bring out the garbage.
What did we have him before? He was a D.
He was a D.
I don't know.
No, in Siege, I used him quite often. And whenever I use a 20-point team, I use him more often than Vixen as lead because he's my de facto stud lead.
I did face a team. It was towards the end, so I was worried I was going to fall back out of the top 20. But I was like, oh, a Grodd lead. That should be easy. I think it might have been your team, M4. And then I put Stupid Vixen as a leader. And he stole all my intellect ups off my Killer Frost.
Mm-hmm.
And then started going ham on it. Like everybody else went ham. And I was so mad.
And you can get stun locked.
Yeah, I got
if you
stun
don't-
locked by his stupid little punch. Of course, he stuns every time on the enemy.
Yeah.
How do you feel on offense?
Oh,
Yeah, pretty bad.
You like that damage?
he's not there for the damage. He's there to annoy the enemy. And then the most use I got from him is I use an 18-point team with Lex. And his int ups plus the int ups from Lex makes your Killer Frost go nuts. And also Vixen, they just stare through the enemy with Grodd and Lex.
Sheriff,
And-
what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's probably a D. His damage is puny, and there's no reason to use him outside of Siege. I agree with M4. I used him quite a bit, particularly on Revenges, for kind of, for a good 20-point team. But out of Siege, I would never use him.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, I think he's borderline. He's like an F+. We'll leave him at D. kind of.
On the thoughts of Grodd, I know this is going slightly off script, but if anybody watches The Flash on CW, he's coming back on the show because now they're apparently like in the same universe or whatever. Again.
All right. Yeah,
So
I did hear that.
who knows? Maybe he'll get a rework.
That would be awesome. There is some. I mean, I would love to see a Rogues like rework. Mirror Master.
Me too.
Captain
He's
Cold,
easy
Grodd.
to fix.
It'd be so great.
He's easy to fix. Just switch his gear set to
Special damage. He'd be awesome.
special special tank and then make his basic, because you just stole a ton of int ups. Maybe your basic should be like special damage instead of like a punch. So
Yeah, why make him physical damage
I
when
don't know.
he's an
Quill.
intellect-based character?
I know, even in the comics, he
Doesn't
usually
make
just
any sense.
right. He rarely uses his fists. Right, he's a smart.
Yeah, he uses his mind.
Yeah, he should have
Correct.
psychic. They need to do like massive rework.
Yeah, he can be
Alright.
tweaked and he'll be fine.
Moving on, let's go to Castaway Green Arrow. I think it's gonna be a quick one. Obviously S tier still for me.
S
Yep.
tier.
I don't think there's anything to discuss. He's the best red out there.
Okay.
One of the things that I've had trouble with the last few days playing with Cassandra Cain is the permanent buff immunity that he gets. That, on top of everything else he does, he's invisible and you try to bleed with the bleed AoE, and he's got permanent buff immunity, which is a big pain in the butthole.
Yeah. Yeah, he does pretty much everything you could want.
Is it bugged? Should we shut up and just because he's great? I don't want that fixed if it's bugged.
I wouldn't mind him getting nerfed to the ground. I mean, that's okay.
I'm
No.
killing myself in Wraith. Stop talking. No more.
All right, we've only had a little bit of time to play with her, but let's talk about Hawkgirl. I've only played maybe 8 matches, but in those 8 matches, I will give her an A already because I think she might actually top Killer Frost as my favorite stunner, potentially. She's right there. So she seems very good.
Yep, I see that.
Sheriff Lobo, let's start with you this time. You were kind of BA.
I played with her quite a bit the past couple of days, and of course she pairs really well with Killer Frost. So put the two together on a team, and they're awesome. Hawkgirl's AOE, now you get a guaranteed stun out of that, which is cool. So I try to stack up the immunity so you can get a double stun. And one of the things that I noticed yesterday that bugged me was sometimes she'll put 2 stuns on the same character instead of like spreading them out. So that happened to me a couple of times. You get that double stun on the AOE. She's a lot better. Her I think her damage on her basic might be a little bit better. I don't know. It seems like it's better, but
Yeah, it's a way better. I mean, it's way better. The damage on her basic. I mean, it's such an increase on her basic. Because before, I remember I used to like tickle somebody. Now you can nuke people with it. Even outside of reds, she seems to do respectable damage. Loot.
And a lot of times her basic will double hit. She gets the double shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I think she's really good. I think she's going to pair really well with Hawkman. I think the two of those are going to be like a dream team. The only issue that I have is
There's a
too
lot
many
of
greens.
tapping in the background.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting up food for my child. Only there's just too many greens. I mean,
Yeah, that's my problem. I wish they would add some red or blue stunners.
it's killing me. Like Hawkman, such an opportunity.
They should have made
Go
it
physical. But I think she's really good. I think she does a lot of things well. I think in the next couple weeks, we're really going to get a feel for who she, what the best comp is for her. But, I mean, I'm looking forward to playing with it because I like stunners. I think it's great. It's fun.
Coming around
Yeah.
to my world.
I am.
How about you, M4?
I think she's a solid A. Let's see if she's going to be an A plus or an S next month.
Wow,
The
you
one
were
thing
higher on her than I was even expecting.
Maybe. The one thing I like about her change is that the new passive gives her the crit immunity, so she's not dependent on the lead to give the crit, so she can stun with her. What was on her? Her AOE, the extra stun. So she self-synergizes that way. But the only thing I don't like about her that she's so good she will just bring Hal back into the forefront. We've seen less and less Hal, and now there's a lot of stunners, debuffs.
Yeah.
So he's gonna make a comeback.
Plus with if Cain takes off, I think Aqualad might see a lot of play, and he's gonna push Hal in more.
Right. Oh,
A lot of reasons for Hal, which I'm excited about. I love Hal.
of course you do. You have an RB5 Hal.
And it irritates Kage, so it's a double win. All right, I think that's everybody. So Hawkgirl is an A. Moving on to Huntress. Loot.
I want dibs on Huntress.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to vote an A, but there's a caveat. Okay. Everyone knows she's bugged. She's only an A because she's bugged. So one thing that's really
I don't know if
good
they'll ever
about,
fix that though.
but it's fine because they let what's her Hawkgirl
Yeah.
run amok, right? Bug until her rework. So maybe she's like this, so she's gonna be an A for me for quite a while, right? So now, all right. So what's going for her is her secret true side, like that never goes away. So if I'm in a hurry, I'll just put my strongest AoE tune like Black Adam, and if you happen to survive, there's nothing can save you from. She will just find you, whether you're invisible or hiding behind a taunter. She does not care. She will just find you if you're dying. So just by that skill alone, she's really great. And then also, well, there's one thing I don't like about her is that on auto, her AI is broken because she does not go for mystics. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
she always goes for energy.
I don't know why. She might think she's a mystic. I don't if her AI was okay, I would have voted maybe an A plus for her because she's so good.
How about you, Loot? What do you think?
So I'm not a fan. I don't like her. First of all, I personally can't rate a character based on their bugged state. I just can't do it. So that whole like secret true sight stuff, I can't vote on that because it's not real. It's fake at the moment. And then she evades. Okay. I'd rather her do something else. I would have liked to have true sight. I would have liked her to have shot through awareness. That would have been cool. But just randomly picking off characters, I don't know, doesn't do it for me.
Sheriff Lobo, you have her as an A as well.
Yeah, I like her. I think she's definitely an A. Her, as M4 said, kind of the finishing off move now. Like, you don't have to worry about killing other people, just getting them to low health if you have her on your team. And on the flip side, you can't skate by the skin of your teeth anymore because if you're facing her, she will take you out. It's good, too, to, pair with a high damage dealer and Lex, obviously. So, you buff first, and then, say, Arcus takes somebody out, and then her big hit once somebody's dead is going to take just about any red or blue out.
Question. I can't remember. Does she do it around taunters too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit torn
it's like
because
full
she's
busted.
I think she's like borderline A in my mind. She's really close, but I don't quite feel like she's there. I don't know. I'm a little torn. She's like an A minus B plus for me because she's in some matches she really seems to do a whole lot, and then in other matches, if a person just dies and they don't get down low, I feel like the rest of her kit's just kind of not bad, but it's nothing to get overly excited for. I don't know. She's a solid character. Kind of have her. Kage has her as a 3.5 as well. So maybe let's list her as a B plus. Yeah, seems like about.
Just eliminate my score.
Well, you had a B, so it's kind of in line. There's a couple A's, a couple B plus, and a B. That kind of.
Yep.
Moving on. Let's start with Killer Frost. Loot has come around, so let's start with you.
I love her. And I just bought her skin, like the alternate one, because I don't have a rebirth. And now I'm like really loving her because she looks a little slutty. You know, Loot likes the slutty characters. She does so much cool stuff. She does the guaranteed stun, and it can't miss. Pretty sure, right? Can't miss that stun.
Yep.
No,
And
stun doesn't miss.
it does? Or
No,
doesn't?
it does not.
It doesn't.
No, okay, that's what I thought.
M4, I'm getting a
So
ton
it doesn't
of background
miss.
noise on you.
And she's got added turn attacks. Like, she's got a little heal. And she does special damage. So I really like her.
How about you, Sheriff Lobo?
I like her a lot. I don't know. I might move her up to an A. I have her at 3.5 right now, and I'm trying to think of like a downside. But I mean, she's kind of squishy, and she doesn't do much other than stun and massive damage. But what she does a very good job of.
M4?
She's really good with another stunner, preferably someone faster. I can't quite bring her up to an A because she needs help, right? She needs another stunner.
Yeah.
Because if it's just her, you're not going to get much mileage out of her. Because she would stun and then would take quite some time to take another turn, right? But if you surround her with other stunners, then she shines. And by that definition, that's a B tune, right? Needs
I would
help,
say that's,
but
I mean, it depends. I mean, if some A characters kind of meet the threshold on their own, if they need a little bit of help, it's an S tier that really can't have any help.
maybe.
I mean, she doesn't need a lot of help. You just really want
right.
another stunner.
Right, but she doesn't do anything outside of that, right? Damage and stun. Granted, she's great at it, but...
She does so much damage, though. With
Oh,
that.
you're
If-
kidding.
And she
Obviously.
looks so hot in her OG costume.
See, I don't like her. I like her regular costume better. That's funny.
She's cool, I think.
Well, let's give her a B+. It seems kind of middle of the road.
Yeah. I think she deserves that.
Especially with all the stunners coming in. Now let's move to Siren. She has been reworked. I honestly haven't played her, so I don't even think I'm going to vote. I haven't seen any video, haven't done anything with her. So let's start with you, M4. Have you played her?
I did, but not a lot. So she's a lot stronger, but her problem from before remains. So her evasions are driven by the enemy team taking a turn, right? So Cassandra Cain kind of helps. But then again, until someone bleeds on the other side, she's vulnerable. But then I see that she can now apply a bleed and gain some turn meter, so she's a little better than before. But my
They
early
removed that
verdict
special
is
damage on her too. People are complaining about.
just the true damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a big hit on her because that's one major source of damage. But then again, she's a lot stronger, so it's a big loss. But
Jeff
then,
Lobo, how much have you played with her?
I played with her quite a bit. She feels very much the same, except she gains evasions easier or gains more evasions, not easier. She still has to bleed, but she can get more now because I think she has a passive that adds an additional 2 or 3 evasions or something, but she doesn't seem like she's changed a whole lot. Still not the best. What M4 said.
Have you played with her, Loot, since she's come out?
I think I put a C on there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what we had
yeah.
before. That was her old score. I don't know if
I-
you played her since
I-
you were...
I played her a lot yesterday, and I honestly just couldn't tell the difference. So, I don't. To me, she's still a C. Like I'm gonna really hold my vote till the end of the March
Okay.
after Siege. We'll see what she does.
think we'll leave her as a B. I kind of thought she was borderline BC before, and if a couple of you think
Right.
she's better, then we'll leave her as a B, and then she's gonna get revisited next month, so we won't spend a lot of time on that. Next up, we have Steppenwolf. He was brought up a couple times, but I think with power creep and lots of new leaders coming in and all kinds of stuff coming up, I think that maybe he's not quite S tier anymore. M4, you wanted to talk about him, so I'll let you start.
Right. So what made him great before was like making your team fast, but someone does it better in Lex. And then he needs to be leader for you to deal with evasions. And then we kind of have Owlman for that, kind of. But then again, I rarely pick him up from the bench when I'm dealing with Batgirl teams, right? I'd either use Hal Jordan or sometimes even just Brainiac and Wonder Woman DOJ. And the one thing he's good at, nobody uses him for. So that's why he's still good. If you have him, you can use him. It's just that he's no longer the best option for what he's good for.
Yeah, I always bring Hal Jordan now for evasion. So I would have to agree. I list him as an A. Sheriff Lobo, I see you have him as an A as well.
Yeah, I agree with exactly what M4 said.
Luke, I know you're a big Steppenwolf fan, so we'll let you.
Did I vote on him?
No, we just added him like right as we were about to start.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm really high on Steppenwolf. I loved him when he came out. I still love him, but he's not an S anymore.
Okay.
Just because I love the guy doesn't mean he gets to retain his
if
superstar status.
I had my way, Killer Frost would be an S, but
So he's still really good, but one level down. He's an A tier. Who knows? Maybe another couple months, something will change again.
all right, last on our list is a Vixen. So I'll go ahead and start with her. I barely have her as a B. I'm not feeling the Vixen. I think she's still, she's better than she was. She's not a D character, but she's just, I don't know. I don't get excited when I use her. I'll never ever use her again. Even though she stuns, I still don't even care for her that much because I have a bleed gate. So I don't know. Her double bear attack is okay. The only thing I really like about her is that eagle ability to completely remove all turn meter, but I don't want to bring one character to completely remove turn meter and then really not do anything else. So Kage is kind of high on her. He has her as a 3.5. M4, you have her as a 3.5, so I'll let you start.
Okay, so I did 3.5 because she's kind of good Swiss Army knife. Okay, but I'll talk about the problems with her kit. For one, she does not have a passive, so outside of leader, you're locked into one of those moves, right? Whatever you need. And the problem is, whatever her move is, there's always someone better, right? It's great if you don't know what you're getting into, but when you face a team, you already know what the problem is, right? If you have an evasion problem, you can bring someone better, right? To deal with that evasion. Owlman, even Red Robin, right?
That just gave me a great idea for a PvP mode where you can't see what your opponent is.
Then she'd be S tier, yes, because you can deal with a lot of problems,
I wouldn't say
right?
S, but maybe much higher.
Right. Okay. And then her leader is so annoying on defense, but so unreliable on offense, right? She could have been a lot better if they designed her to counter Lex. If someone buffs, her team gains, 5%, 10%, but now 30% and then apply to, a random ally and then at 75% chance. It's just too unreliable. So sadly, she's going to ride my bench for quite some time.
Sheriff Lobo?
Yeah, I agree with that. I've come up with on her since the last time we talked. We briefly mentioned her the last year. I played with her more, and she's fun to play with because you can do so many different things with her. But like M4 said, she doesn't do any of them really great. She does a lot of different things, but not great at any of them.
Mr. Zubaz is, if he's even listening, he's just hurling curse words.
Yeah, we don't know what we're saying.
At the podcast. Loot, you have any additional thoughts on Vixen?
I don't. I have nothing to add. She's going to sit my bench.
I would say even during Siege, when she was a bonus character, I'd rather just run 2 greens and 2 reds. Like 90% of the time.
She did have her uses when you face an Arcus.
Yeah, I don't even
And
think I
Power
brought
Girl.
her against Arcus. I used Catwoman instead. I'd rather just take all his buffs and stun him. Yeah, maybe she's a C.
I wouldn't go that far. You can make her work. I mean, she's quite decent. She's not quite C. She doesn't need a lot of help.
Yeah.
It's just that there's always someone better at what you're trying to do with her.
Yeah. I like that mystery PvP idea. I'm going to pitch that to WB to do as a showdown. Show the power score and that's it.
Ooh, that would be nasty.
That'd be fun. I mean,
It is going to be fun.
I think that'd be super fun. I mean, it can't be that hard to make.
So are we announcing that right now? We letting everybody know?
We're gonna beg for it, put it that way. It should be an easy mode they could add without any work. But then again, we say about a chapter 9 too, so.
Yeah, maybe just show the leader, right? Show the leader.
No,
and then
don't show nothing. Showing the
Nothing?
leader's too
Oh.
easy. I think it would be one of the more challenging PvP modes. I mean, granted, everybody would just run the fastest Lex team they could find, but you never know. I think it'd be fun.
I think it would
I
be
think-
crazy.
I think it'd be
Fun,
super fun.
but crazy.
I mean, you will lose. That'll be the best part of it, right?
Yeah, you won't just beat every match you play against.
It's impossible, yeah. You're going to lose.
Yeah, you're gonna lose some. But, alright guys. I think that is everything. So why don't we everybody take a break, because raids are gonna start tomorrow and our life ends for 4 days.
Awesome.
Get excited.
Dread it so bad.
Alright, thanks guys.
All right, see ya.
See you guys. All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of WROL Broadcast. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron. Just go to patreon.com/WROL Broadcast. And also check out our store at teespring.com/stores/WROL Broadcast. Hey, Bizarro.
Goodbye.
Tell your mom to stop sharing the freaking raid boss.